Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, what's the best place to put a bacon vending machine? Also, bear on bear murder. All that and more on the way next. It is the Hudson Show from RadioU. Thanks for checking us out. If you missed it, by the time you're hearing this, our fall fundraiser should be about over, but that doesn't mean you can't donate to RadioU. Seriously, how appreciative are you of this podcast where you never get interrupted by a commercial for politics stuff or mattresses or oink or whatever the meat box is? Like, it drives me crazy, all the live reads they do on podcasts. We don't have to do this. And we don't here on RadioU on the Hudson Show. And that's because of donations from people like you. So you could always still support at RadioU.com or in the RadioU app. Now, let's get on to business. I'm sure you saw earlier this week, the dock workers, I believe it's the Association of Longshoremen, went on strike. People are concerned that basically, I guess they, at the ports, they are the workers that do a lot of the stuff. When ships come in, they unload all the stuff off of the ships, which then gets sent to all the stores, and then we can buy it. Well, people are concerned that means that our store shelves, like, we're just going to be a bunch of goods that we're not able to get anymore, and people are panic buying stuff. I saw a story that says people are panic buying toilet paper, that you go to some Targets and Costco's right now, you would not see any toilet paper on the shelves. It's because it's out of stock, but not because of the strike, because people are panic buying it because of the strike. And CNN and others want you to know, don't worry. You have no reason to worry. Toilet paper not in danger of going out of stock, no matter how long this strike goes, because most of our toilet paper, in fact, 90% of our toilet paper, and I guess we should be proud of this, 90% of our toilet paper is made domestically right here in the United States. And the rest of it, the majority of that other 10% comes from either Canada or Mexico, which of course you can get here by land. So you really don't have to worry about it being imported from overseas. But I want to say, don't rush to judge these people that have panic bought toilet paper when they heard about the longshoremen strike, because I mean, they're panicking. And when you see there's a strike, you don't have time to okay, let me do my research. Which goods are most likely to be affected? You're like, no, there's 3 things I don't want to run out of. One of them is toilet paper, because what is the alternative? We all learned during COVID, what is the alternative? There isn't really one to toilet paper, so you got to have it. And the great thing about toilet paper, doesn't go bad. And so you can have as much as you panic buy all you want. It's not like it's going to go to waste. You're going to use it eventually. So I don't have any space to judge in my heart. Yeah, it might have been unnecessary to go buy up all this toilet paper, but hey, they're not hurting anybody. We're all going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's the Hudson Show. This is so crazy. I thought we put this story to bed earlier this year. Remember that Jacksonville Jaguars employee that was caught, fired after he had stolen about $22 million from the team? And most of that was used so that he could play like daily fantasy and sports bet and things of that nature. Well, he was sentenced to more than 6 years in prison earlier this year. You'd think that'd be it. But no, because he is now bringing a lawsuit against FanDuel, who obviously is the sportsbook that he was using to spend so much of this Jacksonville Jaguars money. He's suing them for $250 million. And basically his argument is that they intentionally preyed upon him, targeted him on his gambling addiction by offering him other stuff like VIP benefits because of all the money he was spending there, letting him go to like F1 events or the Super Bowl or the Masters in an effort, he says, to keep him hooked and make him spend more money. I'm no legal expert, although you be the judge here on the Hudson Show, but I don't think this argument really makes a lot of sense. I don't think you can get pulled over for drunk driving and go, no, it's not my fault. Buffalo Wild Wings kept selling me beer, so I don't think I should be. Am I really the one to blame here? It doesn't work like that. You may have an addiction if you want to call it that, but you can't blame FanDuel for your choices. And $250 million. Don't know where you're getting that figure from, because you spent $22 million. Doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, Nikki, this is also Fat Bear Week. Did you know that?
Oh, I love Fat Bear Week. This is a tradition that has gone back to the earlier states of fat bears. So it's been around for a long time. It's an Alaska thing.
It goes out, yes, it goes out to all the fat bears that have come before. But I don't know if you know this, Nikki, but this year's Fat Bear Week is going to be shrouded in a pall of sadness and mourning.
Oh, why?
Because there's a bear-on-bear murder to kick off Fat Bear Week.
So Fat Bear is like, I forget where it's at, but basically the park there is exploiting the bears by who's the fattest?
Yeah.
Who's the biggest one
National
going?
Park.
That's it. Going into when they lose their weight over the winter when they hibernate.
Mm-hmm.
And so these bears bulk up and they eat a lot of salmon and all the other stuff. And so you can vote on who's like the best fat bear at this moment.
Well, I'll tell you who's the worst fat bear. Is Bear 469, because Bear 469 murdered Bear 402 on live webcam.
No.
Yeah.
Hudson, don't tell me this. No, I didn't know this.
Bears are capable of horrible things.
I know.
As is shown here, because these are two of the bears that were going to be in the bracket for Fat Bear Week. And literally as these cameras are streaming and what's supposed to be the bears, fishing for salmon in the river. Here comes Bear 469, and I don't want to be too graphic, but it kills Bear 402.
Oh, they say this is the harsh realities of bears. I mean, we know what they do, and so we're not too surprised, but 2 Alaskan grizzlies, and it did lead to the death of the one. And so that was on a live stream run by explore.org, which is what always runs the live stream every year.
Yeah, it's sad is what it is. And you might be wondering, why would a bear do this? Apparently, it's just...
Bears do that.
Well, I mean, they're not just ruthless killing machines, though. Does it make it better?
Grizzlies are. Yes, they are.
They say that Bear 469 was probably doing this for food. It wanted to eat Bear 402, so it was cannibalism.
No, what's the... if it's brown... No,
Flush
if it's...
it down?
No, not... No, okay, hang on. You talk for a second. Let me find the poem you're supposed to know. If it's brown bear.
I've never heard this poem before. I try to stay away from bears.
No, okay, so the rhyme is, if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, good night. And so that's the bear reference. And so brown, the lay down ones, the grizzly ones, they go after you. Like, they're aggressive.
I guess somebody should have taught that to Bear 402.
Well, he didn't know he had to do the thing with himself.
Still be with us today. There's a trend you may have seen come up on your TikTok from time to time. Names that would be cool names if they didn't already mean something. Have you ever seen that?
Like if you wanted to change your name, or like if you were naming a baby?
Yeah, right. If you were naming a baby, it's like, well, this would be pretty, except that it means something else.
Or your puppy. No.
Sure, yeah, puppy, whatever.
No pressure.
Well, I have a woman that is living that exact scenario. Her mom was playing that game. The woman's now 52 years old. Her real name, she was given at birth, Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke.
That's her name?
That's her actual name.
Legally, you can name someone like a baby marijuana?
You can, and she did. Her mom did.
Was this in the 80s? Was
50? She's 52 now, so I guess 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it a free time or something at that point?
I think so. Her mom. She says that her mom named her that because it would be a name that would take her around the world.
Not in a positive way, but maybe her mom was too high on her own stash.
Well, you know what, Nikki? You are now feeding into the exact same comments that she has received her entire life. She says her mom wasn't on any kind of drugs and that she's never smoked marijuana in her life, even at 52, even though that's her name. She also doesn't drink soda. Yeah.
She looks very professional, very put together. It feels like Pepsi paid her. Like, I think there were certain trends at certain times where like a company would pay for advertising to name something.
Yeah.
Marijuana obviously is not a company, but it feels like Pepsi was like that.
Yeah. Well, she's got a PhD, and I know which many people are thinking. I know what many people are thinking is that, she probably just goes by Mary or something like that. But she when people ask her for her nickname or whatever, she's like, no, you can either call me Marijuana Pepsi, which is my name, or you can call me Dr. Van Dyke.
I have a hard time with all of this. I mean, I'm sure she's navigated it. She's older, so like she's had enough years with her name.
Yeah.
But that just feels like she is also a fan of the attention it brings her.
I mean, well, it's working for her
Otherwise, you
now.
would change your name.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think once you're an adult, it works for you. Maybe as a child, and she said this, as a child, people would make fun of her and whatever, but now she's a grown up and now she can use that to her advantage. I do have a couple names that or words that mean things, but might make cool names. You want to rate these real quick?
Yeah, what you got?
Rubella.
Ooh,
If that didn't, what is it? A disease? If it wasn't a disease, wouldn't it be a cool name?
Like, it's so nice to meet you, Mr. Noro.
Vendetta. I think you could actually use that if you wanted to.
I absolutely love that, especially for a middle name. That'd be really cool.
Yes. How about Persimmon?
Persimmon?
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually probably someone's real first name.
Yeah, you could use that, right? I mean, it's just a fruit or something that people don't really eat.
It sounds actually very, very better than us. So it's fine.
It kind of sounds like a character from a Roald Dahl novel.
Ooh.
Like something out of Matilda or something.
Yes, exactly. 100%. You're spot on.
Last one, Eclair. Why not just name somebody that? That's delicious.
I wouldn't mind that, even though I'd feel like you'd have to stay a certain weight. Like I wouldn't want to be overweight and be called Eclair as well. I'd have a really, really tough time mentally with that one.
Just for the right person. Your toilet needs an aesthetic. So let me introduce you to toilet stamps. Nikki, you can now buy stamps for your toilet. They're shaped like flowers. They smell great, apparently. They look like little Jell-O stickers that you stick inside the toilet bowl. And they're cute, and they make it smell great.
Now, I think this has been around for a while, though. Like it's a cleaning thing. It's not like you're paying extra for like some cutie thing. Mm-hmm. They just stamp the inside of your toilet, kind of like some people put like, I don't know, the drops in the toilet, like that sort of thing. So I don't know.
I've never seen anything like, I mean, the only thing I've seen is those things that you hang on the side of your toilet and they just are supposed to make it smell good, right?
Yes. Even though like for me, I have so many dogs and they don't drink out of the toilet often. But for fear that they do, I never put this stuff in a toilet because it could poison them. You have to think about your little doggies.
Yes, that's the thing that we don't want them drinking out of the toilet. The scent smells, not the
no, it's chemicals. Because I think some of them are like, as you flush, it cleans.
Yeah,
like
right.
It's supposed to clean the toilet. And so that's what could hurt them. I know you don't care about your doggy as much, Hudson, but come on.
No, I do. I keep the lid closed on the toilet because I don't want, she will go drink out of there. And, well, we're not going to go any further down this road. But I don't want, listen, these flower stamps, people are putting so many in their toilets. And first of all, you have to get down in there and like stamp these things in there. It does have like a little apparatus, I don't know what you call it, that stamps
it's a syringe.
A little stamped syringe. But I don't want to have to get that close and personal with my toilet to make it look pretty. Even if they made these in like football logos, I still wouldn't do this.
Plus, it's also just kind of weird. But like if you clean a lot, this is all a part of Clean Talk. So if you're into the aesthetic sort of stuff, this is like if you have extra money to spend on these toilet cleaning flowers, then I'm not going to mention RadioU, but perhaps I'll mention RadioU.
Well, we should get RadioU branded toilet
so
stamps.
Weird. No, these are so weird.
Give you something to aim at.
So I really don't like, out of think of all like the shapes and stuff, I don't like flowers as much. So I think it looks extra kind of weird. It's just not my aesthetic.
It is a little, isn't it kind of like 90s to you? Like 90s girl bedroom?
Like
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like with you should have a beaded curtain into your bathroom, that kind of thing.
Now, I also don't want us to go far on the other side where you don't clean your toilet. Like you have to be a responsible person no matter how old you are, or even if you're living at home. Your mom has to clean your toilet, so you should have something, but you don't need this. You
know what? If you're keeping, first of all, if you put these in a toilet that was dirty, that really defeats the entire purpose, I believe. But if your toilet if you keep it so clean, than getting down and dirty, getting up close and personal and stamping these things in there shouldn't make that big of a difference, I suppose. Where my Lego fans at? Did you know Lego just launched something that I'm sure many like local businesses around you probably do, but Lego's doing it now like officially. Like this is the official Lego program. They call it the Brick Take Back program, where you can trade in. I know you're not supposed to call them Legos. You can trade in your Lego bricks and get actual payback from Lego for saving all these old bricks all over time. If you've got a collection, you can take it in to Lego, to one of the Lego stores, and they will pay you back up to $6 per pound. That could really add up. Where are my people at that, like your parents probably have your whole collection of Legos in a bin somewhere from where you were growing up, and you're like, that's probably like 30 pounds in there. That's like could be $180. But there is one massive caveat before you're like, oh, I could pay off I could do my insurance payment if I just get all of my old Legos and take them back in, or donate to RadioU perhaps. They're only going to pay you back in Lego e-gift cards. Come on. I got a big collection of Legos I don't want anymore. I don't want new Legos. I want adult stuff. And sorry, Legos aren't adult stuff to me. I'm a grown man that doesn't play with Legos anymore. I want to spend that money on like video games or something. How appropriate, how apt that we get this news on a Throwback Thursday. Nickelodeon and Paramount are going to be bringing back the iconic 1990s cartoon series Rugrats in the form of a brand new movie. It sounds like it's going to be actually coming to theaters. They're going to be bringing Rugrats to theaters in a live action CGI mix of a movie. In other words, it's going to be like the real world, like think Sonic the Hedgehog when they put out those movies, where everything's going to be real, except Chucky, Tommy, Phil, and Lil are all going to be CGI. So how do real life people give birth to CGI babies? I'll let you do the math on that. But of all the things that do not need to be brought back in CGI form, I loved Rugrats growing up, but the characters are frightening looking as cartoons. I don't want to see them in a slightly more real version than they already are. Hey, if you want to bring back the Rugrats, I'm cool with it. I like the Rugrats. I do feel like they kind of did it into the ground back in the day. But to bring them back in CGI form, come on. Whatever happened to just drawing things with your hands, cartoons? I don't feel like that's so bad. I feel like that's where Rugrats should stay. But I don't know. I guess maybe I'm a little too old school. Nikki, what was your experience like when you were a child, when your parents were buying your shoes? Did you get like one pair per school year, or how did that work?
You mean like when you were really young?
Yeah,
oh,
before you got to start buying your own.
I don't know. I don't know if I remember, but I feel like my mom was really loving. So I feel like I probably had enough and I didn't have to fight too hard to get them. So I think she was probably really kind.
Man, must be nice. I think for a lot of us.
Was your mom withholding shoes?
Yeah, I think most people, when you're growing up, your parents are like, all right, you get one new pair of shoes. You get it at the beginning of the school year, and you're going to wear those no matter what, all school year long, no matter how messed up they get.
I think that's because weren't you homeschooled when you were little? And I think that feels more Nikki, like on the prairie.
I was homeschooled. So one, I didn't need to wear shoes to school. Two, there is no school year. It was all school year.
Exactly. You might be different.
I just had one. I didn't have 12 years of school. I had 12-year-long season of school. But
so you had 12 pairs of shoes total.
That's right. But there was one way. You either got a new pair of shoes at the beginning of the school year, or if your feet really got too big, they grew so much that your parents could not deny. It's like, this is not right to have them in these shoes. But
it made them look bad.
Yeah, right. But there's one company that's coming to change that and not allow it anymore. It's a shoe that is now going to be sold at Target for children and adults. It's called Uno's. Uno stands for you need one size. They stole that you thing from us. Yeah. And they are shoes that literally they're expanding shoes. So as your feet grow, I don't know why your feet are growing as an adult, but as your feet grow.
like if you gain and lose weight, your feet get bigger or smaller. So it absolutely
or if you're
still
pregnant,
happens.
right?
Yeah, true.
These would be great for pregnant women. These shoes expand as your feet grow so that you can supposedly buy one pair of shoes and have them last much longer because you don't have to worry about outgrowing them.
Well, that doesn't sound fun.
No, it doesn't, does it?
I don't know Target if that's exact. I mean, I understand none of us want to spend money on anything.
Yeah, but also Target isn't exactly fun
point.
shoes either.
Why don't you just tell us to put a plastic bag around our feet and just call it that? So. You remember, did you ever see on TikTok like barefoot shoes that were all the trend for a while?
Yes, I did. And then some people were just...
It was supposed to be helpful to you in like body wise, but then you couldn't go into some stores. So they actually still sell shoes that look like shoes if you're just looking at them, but there's no bottom to them.
Yeah, that's a little wild to me. But I don't know. You know what, to me though, like you can say, oh, you only would need these one pair of shoes and they'll just get bigger. But I'm going to destroy them. My shoes get in such bad shape. I don't know what I'm doing with my feet. But my shoes get in such bad shape, they would never last till I got to the second size anyways. So
true. Well, Target, I hate to tell you, but I'm a Costco gal, so I'll buy my shoes at Costco. It's fine.
Now, college football season really heating up. In fact, the Ohio State Buckeyes are about to kick off their season while many other teams started several weeks ago. Ohio State's finally playing real teams this weekend. And just
what are you saying?
Just in time for them to play a school you've actually heard of in Iowa. They've got a new addition to the Ohio Stadium, the historic Ohio Stadium. They finally made an upgrade after all these years. They are adding a bacon vending machine that you can actually get bacon while it's halftime at the Ohio State Buckeyes game.
So Hudson, I was looking, it looks like, because I was like, oh, is this the first ever like bacon vending machine?
Yeah.
But it seems like there was in New York several years ago, a vending machine where you could buy like the packages of bacon, but then you would take it home to make it.
Right.
So like, does this one come out, like, is it cooked or we just buy in bacon like in the package? Like, which is it?
I am thoroughly confused because the pictures do not really
they don't show you the face of
what that is. But if it's not cooked, if it's raw bacon, what would you do with that while you're in the football stadium?
You can't. For most football stadiums, you're not even allowed to bring a big enough bag. And if you do, they have to be clear. So like people will see that you bought the bacon.
Yeah. And what, you're going to take that home, save it for, I'm glad this is here. I've been needing bacon. I'll grab this for later.
I'm looking, and it looks like, announced a new improved bacon vending machine. It's looked like they've had this already from other years.
They've had it on campus before, which makes sense because you could be walking around campus in a pinch. Man, we've got the eggs, but we really need some bacon. I don't want to go all the way to the store. Let me walk over to the vending machine. That makes sense.
This feels like lies. I'm looking at an article from saying that in the Ohio Stadium will have it for the 2019 football season.
What? They got it in 2019?
I know. I think there's a lot of it's not an urban legend, but I think there's a lot of lies going on around this. So I think they've had bacon stuff before. Here's a 2018. This is when they got one on campus. So I get the difference with that. But it looks like you're just buying bacon in the package. Like it's not cooked for you.
Listen, if they put it in 2019 and they're still using it now, then people must be using it. Like it's making money.
It says ready to eat. Cause like technically you can eat bacon, like it's cooked.
Yeah.
What it is. So it says ready to eat. I just don't think it's sizzling bacon.
Of course not. Yeah. If it came out cooked, I guess that would be like hot. How would you handle that? But that would actually be cool. But yeah, lukewarm bacon right out of a vending machine. The perfect football snack.
Listen, I don't think, I just don't think some football stuff's realistic where it's like, well, if I'm going to the Horseshoe and I'm watching a game, I probably don't have any money left for bacon and it's not going to be expensive bacon. This is more money than if you went to the store.
No, this makes total sense. This is the only thing you can afford at the stadium. Because burgers are like $20. You're like one slice of bacon for $5. That's all I have the money left for.
I still like trying to bring things in. You sneak things in, but I never heard of buying bacon to bring out.
Well, now you don't have to sneak in your bacon. You just sneak in the tater tots and the cheese, and then you wrap them in bacon.
Yes.
I've seen so many people talking about this poll that came out. Let me just ask you, Nikki, because as it was asked in this poll, what do you wear to go to bed?
Oh, to bed?
Yeah.
Usually like a nightgown or like pajama clothes, which could be old clothes, like that have moved into pajamas. They're not gym clothes.
Like an oversized shirt that you don't feel comfortable wearing out in public anymore.
Like it's had its day outside.
If you choose to call that pajamas, then you're in the majority of people. I guess the plurality. 31% of people say they sleep in pajamas. I feel like that's so high. I don't even know where to buy pajamas. Where do they have pajamas?
Well, I'm not doing a matching set. I mean, we're not doing that. Some people do like the flannel stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so warm.
I just like the name, but the muumuus were really popular for a while, which is just a nght-shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's
like
what
an
I wear.
Oversized one. Yeah, okay, that's what you wear.
I was
Does
calling it something. Yeah. But what people are actually upset about in this breakdown, right, is pajamas was number one, 31%. Number two, just straight up underwear, 30%. Basically the same amount of people that wear pajamas.
Just wear underwear?
Which is fine, right? That's fine. Maybe you sleep really warm. But this is what people were upset about. 14% of people, that's 1 in 7, wear the same clothes that they wore that day. They just go to bed with whatever they were wearing that day.
Well, let's see, Hudson. Before we go all throwing pajamas, why don't we just see what sort of day did you have? If you didn't do much, I mean, it can just transcend into nighttime wear.
In this day and age, I really feel like 14% of people could also work from home. So it's not surprising. Like either you wear your pajamas all day long or the clothes you wear at your house. Why would you not sleep in them? Because you just want to be comfy. I don't see. Some people are saying that's so horrible. I mean, unless you're wearing jeans, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. If you're wearing jeans, then you're doing it wrong. So did anybody say naked? Is that the fourth one? Or are they just talking about clothes only?
No. Yeah. Naked also 14%. So the same amount of people that wear their clothes from the day to bed sleep naked. 1 out of 7.
Naked's super weird because what if there's an emergency and you just don't know what's going to happen? So I feel like that's rolling the dice and that's scary. So if you just stick with your old clothes that you don't go to the gym anymore, you don't do anything else with, and you don't want to donate them yet. So you just send them to the bed.
You want to know who's really weird?
What?
Is 2% of people sleep shirtless. They wear pants, some kind of pants, but no shirt.
Well, I could see for guys doing that.
No,
you just wear bottoms.
It makes sense, but why is it only 2%?
I don't trust polls anyways, okay? I think people are lying. No one wants to tell the truth.
You want to know one other secret, Nikki, before we go?
Sure.
That is that I found out recently that Michael likes to get our RadioU fundraiser shirts and sleep in them.
Oh, that's what does it moves down like the old ones or the
I don't know. I think he's
pajamas?
just said they're so comfortable, he just sleeps in them. Which I understand, they are
Michael can't
nice.
Stop working, so he works even at night wearing our fundraiser shirts. So it's a control issue.
Yeah, I can't deny that they are comfortable, and I am one of the 14% that will often sleep in whatever I wore for the day, at least my shirt. So
that's true.
If it's a RadioU shirt, yeah, of course. Now, of course, we're all ready for a big week of sports this weekend, right? We've got some solid college football games. The baseball playoffs are in full swing and a lot of fun to watch. And we've got obviously some big games in the NFL. I'll tell you something the NFL and the NHL are bothering me with this weekend. I finally tipped over into the side of I am so annoyed with these international overseas games in Europe. The NFL, you've got the Jets playing the Vikings over in London this Sunday morning. For the NHL, I think this is so dumb. Maybe it's just because I'm a fan of one of the teams that's involved. But the NHL season, actually, the regular season kicks off with this reigning Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. They get to have their home opener, kick off the season, raise the banner and everything. That's next week. But they're playing actual regular season games. Meanwhile, this weekend, actually today, the NHL season gets underway in Europe, in Czechia, or Czech Republic, as most people call it, with the Buffalo Sabres and New Jersey Devils. What are you doing playing regular season games that count overseas like a week before every other team gets ready. Like, why are we doing this? What purpose are we serving? It's fun when it's like every once in a while they do international stuff. It feels special for us here as fans. You can put up with it. But especially the NFL, from now until like Thanksgiving, there's going to be a game overseas basically every week. There's going to be tons of teams missing out on home games, and there's only so many home games to go around in the NFL. I just don't think it's right. I know, they're trying to grow the game overseas. Yeah, but what about your fans here that don't want to get up at 9:30 or in some cases like the West Coast 6:30 a.m. to see these games? Come on. I just don't think it's, you know what it is, NFL, NHL? It's inconsiderate. It's silly. Come on. But that said, am I going to be waking up early on Sunday morning, keeping an eye on the Jets game, seeing how Aaron Rodgers holds up against the Vikings? You know it. Am I going to be watching the Sabres later today in Prague? You know it. We don't have time for a full-on weekend watch list today, but I'll tell you, you know what really you need to know is that the new Joker movie is out this weekend. Joker Folie à Deux. And while that may be exciting to some, and sure it will be at number one at the box office this weekend, critics not as enthused. The early reviews in have it at like a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not exactly awesome. Let me give you here. John Bleasdale of Time Out says, we're left with the tragedy of a broken man in a world only interested in sensationalism. It's a big swing for all involved, but all the better for it. So he seemed to like it, but overall the critics like very, very torn on whether this new Joker is any good. And man, I am disappointed to see that because they, generally loved the last one. And so did I. I mean, it wasn't perfect. It's not my favorite movie of all time, but really I did enjoy the last Joker. And I really had higher hopes for this one. I still want to go see it. I do. But I really wish that everybody was kind of giving it a better reception than it's really getting. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.